everybody, welcome to the Sublimation Beginner Series. This is my first time ever hosting the Sublimation Beginner Series here on YouTube. I posted the Sublimation Beginner Series in 2022 and 2023, but that was over on TikTok and Instagram. I'm starting the Sublimation Beginner Series over on Instagram and hopefully TikTok if it comes back from the ban. But I had so many people requesting that I add this series on YouTube. Now that I'm finally getting my YouTube up and running, I thought this was the perfect time. I'm not entirely sure yet if I'll be able to squeeze everything into one video or if it will actually be a series with multiple videos. But make sure to subscribe to be notified anytime that I do post a new sublimation video. A little bit about me, I started sublimating back in 2021. And in 2021, I converted my first ever sublimation printer, and that was the 2760, the Epson EcoTank 2760. I used Cosmos ink, and I loved that printer so much. That printer lasted me 3 whole years. Not only that, with that printer alone, I was able to scale my business into a 6-figure business on just selling sublimated cups. Then in 2023, I converted my second sublimation printer, and that was a 2803, same model as this one. Then in December of 2024, I converted the Epson 8550, which is a large format printer. That one prints up to 13 by 19, which is such a game changer. And now today, we are going to convert the Epson 2803 using Hippo Sublimation ink. And don't worry, I will go ahead and link all the supplies you're going to need. I do have one more sublimation printer, and that is the Sawgrass SG1000. And the Sawgrass SG1000 is an actual sublimation printer. I didn't have to convert that one. I've been sublimating for a few years, and I was able to grow my business into a 6-figure business off of just sublimating cups. So as you can imagine, I have so much information to share with you. So let's go ahead and get started. Today we are going to convert the Epson 2803. But before we get started, I do want to let you know about a few things. The first and the most important is anytime you add a third-party vendor ink onto the Epson EcoTanks, that does void your warranty. In order to keep your warranty, you're only able to use Epson ink. The second thing to keep in mind is because these printers are not meant for sublimation ink, they get clogged a little easier. In order to avoid clogged print heads, you want to be printing at least once a week. If you're not ready to start printing, that's okay. We can always hold off on converting the printer. If you're anything like me, anytime I start a new hobby, I either procrastinate or I just avoid it because I'm scared. So just be sure not to convert your printer until you're ready to start printing at least once a week. Now let's get right into it. So here we have the Epson 2803 EcoTank. If you're wondering what other printers you can convert, here's a list of a few options. A friendly reminder, this is not a sublimation printer yet, but we're about to change that by converting it into one. So if you didn't know, Epson actually makes sublimation printers under their shirt color line. That's why converting a regular printer is such a great option for beginners, especially if you're like me and love trying all the crafts that come up on your FYP. Let's be real, there's a chance that sublimation might not be your thing, and this is the perfect way to test it out before committing to a big fancy printer. Since I mentioned a few pros of converting a printer for sublimation, I also want to be completely transparent and go over some of the cons. That way you can make the best decision for yourself and for your small business. One big con is that converting your printer will void the warranty. Another thing to keep in mind is that converted printers aren't actually designated for sublimation ink. So while they work really well for most people, there's always a chance that it may not work for you, that there will be clogging or maintenance issues. But don't worry, I'll cover all of this in detail in the upcoming videos. Since this is a beginner-friendly sublimation series, I'll also be posting a separate video going over actual sublimation printer options in case you want to explore that route. Now, one super important thing to remember, do not use the ink that comes with the printer. I repeat, do not use the ink that comes with the printer. That is regular ink, and if we want this to work for sublimation, we need to use sublimation ink. Alright, let's get started. Plug in the power cord into the back of the printer and into an outlet, but don't turn it on just yet. Now go ahead and unbox your sublimation ink. Like I mentioned, I'm using Hippo Sublimation ink, and it comes with 4 bottles: black, cyan, magenta, and yellow. Now let's open up this little white panel right here and bring it down so we can see the ink tanks. Lift the blue lids to expose the fill ports, and now you're ready to start adding your ink. Super important, make sure you add the right ink to the right tank because we definitely do not want to mix them up. And we will do that with all 4 colors. All you have to do when adding ink is line up the bottle with the fill port and you'll hear it click into place. And then the ink will start flowing automatically. Since this part takes a minute, let's talk about why sublimation is one of my favorite crafts. Sublimation actually infuses the ink onto the material, so your design won't peel, crack, or fade over time. And for blanks, the possibilities are endless. I've sublimated t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, notebooks, bottle openers, mouse pad. Oh my goodness, there are just so many options, which is why I love it. So if you're thinking about starting a small business, sublimation is a great way to offer custom products with a super professional finish. I'm honestly really excited for this year's Sublimation Beginner Series because now that I've quit my 9-to-5 and have more time to create content, I'm gonna be posting a tutorial on how to sublimate so many items. If there's anything in particular that you want me to post a tutorial, make sure to let me know in the comments. Alright, now that all the ink is in, we are officially done converting our sublimation printer. How exciting! Now we just need to follow the instructions on the screen or on the manual to load the ink, connect it to the Wi-Fi, and after that, we're ready to start printing sublimation transfers. I know that starting a new hobby, a new craft, a new business is very intimidating, but I promise after you finish watching my Sublimation Beginner Series, you will feel so confident and so excited to get started with sublimation. I hope this video helped you feel confident about converting your printer. And if you still don't feel confident, that's okay. There are so many more parts to this series, and I promise that by the end you will feel so confident and so excited to start sublimating. If you're excited to learn more about sublimation, make sure to like this video and to subscribe to my YouTube channel because part 2 is coming up very soon. I can't wait to show you everything I know about sublimation. See you in the next one!